Good morning, guys. Welcome in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome in. I hope you guys are all ready to dive into today's session. We have some things to talk about. The Santa rally, right? A little bit of some pre-market upside here this morning and some names that look pretty good. The market looks good this morning. Let's see what it turns into. Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning. How are you all doing? Hope you all had a nice weekend. Hope you had a nice Friday. Friday was a little slow for me. It was a little slow Friday, but I got something working at Apple, which is good. But since no Santa rally, let's see what it turns into. Let's see. Market looks strong this morning, though. Market does look a little strong this morning, and this is when the Santa rally would be. If the Santa rally is here, it's technically today, right? It would be today, Tuesday, and Wednesday, right? So these are the days where the Santa rally really, where that stat really comes from. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the week. Let's see what happens. This is where things become interesting. So I hope you guys are all ready to dive into today's session. I hope you guys are all ready. And we're going to jump right into it. So econ data for today's session, we'll talk about in a second. We'll go over all the econ data for this morning. Obviously, nothing's really crazy. We have a closure on Thursday, which we'll go over. Earnings reports, there's nothing. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll go into our trading view data. We'll go over our SPY charts. SPY chart, a little strength this morning. A little bit of some frothy upside here in the pre-market, right? And you know what we do when we see frothy upside and we see gap ups like this, pre-market upside. We treat it always the same way, right? We treat this basically like a gap up, and I'll tell you guys what my plan is, and we'll talk about the scenarios today. Okay, we'll go over what the markets, what the market should do today. Okay, we'll go over the ES chart. We'll talk about ES demand down below, which is at 6,900 ES level. We'll go over QQQ levels. Obviously, we have some big supply that we're trading right into here in the pre-market session. We'll go over our first ticker of the day, which is going to be Apple. We'll talk about Apple, the Appler. A little bit of weak upside here in Apple in the pre-market session. And Apple was decent on Friday, but didn't really give you much continuation, which I think was part of the problem. But we will go over Amazon, which looks really good this morning. And Amazon has a really nice level in front of us. So Amazon, big technical level of supply, 229 today. We'll go over the Tesla 482, big demand down below, and some supply above us at 491, which is going to be an interesting spot today's session for us to trade off of. Besides that, we'll go over Meta, we'll go over Palantir, right? We'll go over the big ones, guys. We'll have a nice pre-market session. So without further nonsense, let's go into our econ data and we'll talk about what's happening here. So on the econ side, today is Monday, the 22nd of December. Today's data, we have obviously NVIDIA, guys. We'll go over NVIDIA as well. Monday, December 22nd. In this morning session, we have some delayed data, which I don't know why data is still delayed. Don't ask me. I don't know why it's delayed. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's working here, but I don't know what's going on, right? But again, delayed data. Looks like this was out, but the Chicago Fed, or maybe this is the data that was delayed and is being displayed now. I don't know what it is. I truthfully, I don't care because it doesn't impact my systems. But obviously, 8:30 a.m. we have data, which was about 8 minutes ago. I don't know what the data was. I don't know if it even was released. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's not important to us. Now, what is important to us is going to be tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session, we should get GDP data, which is going to be important. GDP data, industrial production data, consumer confidence, and new home sales, all at in the early morning there on our Tuesday session. So Tuesday, going to be important. We have a full market day Monday, a full market data on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday session, the 24th, on Wednesday, we have what? We have our half day, right? So we have half day here on Wednesday, the 24th of December for Christmas Eve, which means the market is closing at 1 p.m. This means that the market this week is not going to be high. It's not going to be very liquid, right? It's going to be very, not many people are trading, right? It's mostly retail traders. Some institutions are trading, but it's very light, and all week is going to be light. But on Wednesday session, it's going to be particularly light. It's going to be a day where not many people are trading at all, okay? And I think you should all understand that, especially Thursday because the market's not closing. It's not even open. It's fully closed. There's no liquidity. And then Friday is the same idea, right? Most people, what's happening this week is you have Monday, Tuesday, people are in the office, right? You have institutions running. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they're off, right? They're home, they're with their family, right? Everyone's off on Friday. Literally everyone's off on Friday. So just keep that in mind. Friday is going to be a probably a very bad day, just as bad as Wednesday, right? Because Friday, this makes it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 day weekend, basically. So keep that in mind. After Wednesday, it's going to be very lackluster. On the earnings docket, we have nothing for 2 weeks. So this is going to be not important for us until January, right? And obviously we're starting the new year, and it's going to be a very good year, but there's nothing to talk about for the first 2 weeks. Now, on the third week, things begin to pipe up. So about 3 weeks from now, things begin to pipe up, and that starts with your GS, your Wells Fargo, your Morgan Stanley, your bank names. So we'll get into that next year because it's not important right now. But we do have earnings season upon us about 3 weeks away. Okay, let's dive into our charts right now. Okay, let's start off with the first ticker today's session, SPY. On our SPY chart, what's going on here in SPY? Basically, what happened on our Friday session was we saw a classic hold of demand, which was our big demand here. We had a huge demand here on Friday. We held demand, and we moved from demand to supply, right? From 675 to supply 679. We sat there for a while, and we chopped around at supply. And then finally, we broke above it. We held above it, and saw some continuation and close. And the most important candle on our session yesterday, the most important thing that happened yesterday, or really Friday, there's two things that are important. The first most important thing was this candle here, right? This series of retention right here, this build above the supply is the most important thing. Because here, all these candles look weak, right? All these candles look very weak, right? Even there's all pin bar candles coming in weak, pin bar candles weak. And then right over here, I would even argue over here, this is where things became interesting, right? And it happened later on in the session, right? It happened later on in the session, but this build above your resistance was what resulted in upside going into Friday to Monday, right? This right here is why the market's moving up higher today, right? Now you can argue, say a million things otherwise, but this is the reason for me why the market's moving higher is because we are continuing the break from Friday session. And this break from Friday session has resulted in a pre-market upside move, right? Pre-market upside move. And when I see pre-market upside move like this, above a supply zone, right? My main thing this morning is going to be on the SPY chart. Well, this is obviously bullish, right? We can look at this chart and you can see, well, we broke down trend, right? We've held support. We've broken down trend, and now we're above resistance. We are holding above our resistance level. And if you look at this chart right now, if you think this is a downtrend break here in the market, in theory, we are bullish as long as we are above what level? 679, right? My whole mindset here is going to be this is the start of a potential uptrend where you have a high, you have a low, you have a high, and you need to develop a swing low now, right? This is what I'm expecting today, right? I'm expecting today us to basically try to form a swing low. If we can form a swing low down at the 680s, 680 to 679.50 flat, I'm looking for a lower high to form, for a higher low to form, and an upside move to come in. So I don't chase the upside here, and I wouldn't recommend chasing the upside because, again, it's a pre-market move higher. And you guys know what happens with pre-market moves. Pre-market moves tend to get filled and pull back to the previous day high. So if you are watching for longs today, I'm looking for longs back down somewhere over here, right? Where the swing high will form, because this is the optimal place to get longs, okay? And if we lose this level, if we lose the 679 level, the bull bear pivot on the day, we are no longer bullish and we are looking for bear side place all the way back to 675. So our bias is drawn from one level today, and it is simply the breakout level from Friday and the high of Thursday and the breakdown level of Wednesday and the low of Monday the 15th and the low of the 12th of December, the Friday, okay? So it's a very important inflection point, and the market is potentially engaging a move higher here, but we need to hold this low as our bull bear pivot, because if this is an uptrend with ebbs and flows, well, then the flow must end here, right? That's where it should be. So let's see what happens. Right now we're bullish. We're bullish as long as we hold this level, and we're moving higher, and our target should be back here. If this is a real Santa rally, we should not be, we should understand that this should, in theory, move to these highs over here, which would be 691, right? That's where we should move into. So let's see what happens. That would be your target for longs. Now we have landmines above us. We have a landmine right over here. We have a landmine at 685. It's a big supply. So don't be saying, oh, we're going to Santa Rally, right? And then long to 685 because there is resistance there. There's also resistance at 689, right? There's levels here as well. So keep that in mind. We should just grind higher, but let's look for optimal entries. It doesn't matter if you think we're going to rip higher today. You want to look for the best possible entry point. In my opinion, that's going to be a swing low back in demand. Okay. On the ES chart, it's so clear here, and this is where you might okay. This is where things become interesting, right? Because I said that it's so clear on this buy chart, and it is clear on this buy chart. Rick the Ruler, yes, absolutely. Yes, thank you very much, Rick the Ruler. Can we do UNH and or Meta action as well? Absolutely. We'll go over those two tickers towards the end of the stream. But yes, I will absolutely do that. Okay, on the ES chart, the problem is I have a very big level today at 6,900 ES flat, right, which is right here in the chart. This is my big level today. And if you look at that, that's basically saying let's watch the pre-market low, right? The pre-market low is this 6,900 ES level. And if you look at the buy chart, the pre-market low is somewhere over here, like 681.50, right? 681.50 would be the pre-market low. This area right over here where we gapped up, where we see this little gap up, right? It's like right there is that ES 6,900 ES level, right? And so that in my opinion is interesting because my ES level is here today, right? It's right there, but my SPY level is here, and so that creates a lot of caution for us because you want your ES and SPY to line up, right? You want your bull bear pivot on ES and SPY to be the same because they should be the same. They should almost always be the same. But sometimes, and it's very rare, but it does happen, you have levels that appear to be a little bit different, right? And if you look at the ES chart, just jump back into that ES chart and look at what happened on this chart. You can see the high of this close was ES 68.93, right? 68.94. It was the high of that Friday session. And so I would argue that this whole zone between 69 and that 68.94 level is my level today. And so if I am looking for pullback longs today for a swing low to develop, I want to see it happen there on the ES chart, right? That's where I want to see it happen. I want to see this develop a swing low here and not much lower than that. So I think that you should be watching both SPY and ES today, especially if you are a SPY trader, is you have to ask yourself, what do you want to focus on more so? I think try to see if both are holding, because if both are holding, then that's your ultimate confidence to go long. So it's not easy, right? I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's not easy because the problem is that you technically this level here, this 68.93 is above my 679.5. So it's not going to work, right? It's simply not going to work. The ES level I'm discussing is basically here, right? This is the ES level I'm discussing. It's basically right there. And so you have to be aware that there are two potential reversion spots on SPY today. It's either going to be the PDH, which is 681.50 to your level here at 681, this whole zone over here, 50-cent zone, or it's going to be here. And I just don't know what it's going to be. It could be either one. And so I basically gave you this whole speech about why the SPY demand is here. We should be looking for the pullback long right over there. But in theory, it could also be right here because that's where the ES level is. So I want you to understand that there are two things to watch today in the SPY chart because of ES, right? And that's why we watch ES, because ES will give you more data. The more data you have, the more insights you do have on the market, right? And sometimes you get more conviction in a particular level, and sometimes it says, hey, otherwise, right? Hey, there are two things to watch today here on the ES chart, on the SPY chart. And so that's why today's session, I'm watching both demand zone number 1 and demand zone number 2 because of that ES correlation, okay? That's my only issue with today's session is that issue, okay? Back to ES for a second, just to jump over here, right? Obviously, you can see there is demand over here, the 68.70 area. This 68.70 area is the level to watch here on SPY chart. That's the 680 level here on SPY. So this is your demand zone on SPY. This is your demand zone ES, and obviously it's also here. It's also here on the ES too. Obviously, you can see it's a high from Thursday the 18th, and it's now the breakout level from Friday. So it's a big level here on the ES chart as well. But of course, we're watching both levels today's session. And where are we going to? We should, in theory, go back to these highs over here at 69.50. This is an uptrend. This is where we're going to, right over here. This is the Santa rally. This is the Christmas rally, right? The market's going higher because it's the Santa rally, right? This is where we should go to if the market does hold that trend, okay? That's what I'm seeing here on the indices. Guys, let's move on It's 8:48. Let's jump into our QQQ ticker, right? Qs. On the Qs are strong, right? And the reason why Qs are stronger is because of a big demand hold on our Friday session. On Friday, we spoke about one level in particular. We said, hey guys, there's 613 as your big level. And if you guys want to see something so interesting, I'm not a big QQQ trader, but I know many of you guys are QQQ traders. And this is why I go over someone said something. Hey, someone said, Brett, so it's better to chart the ES than confirm a SPY. It's not always one or the other, right? It's watch all of these three big indices and see if there's anything you're missing or if there's anything that can be confirmed, right? Because most times they're going to line up perfectly, right? Most times you get an ES low and it lines up with a SPY low, and that's your bounce level, right? Or an ES high and a SPY high, and that's your breakout level. But in some cases, you have some discrepancy. And there is a discrepancy today in SPY and ES. In most cases, it's the same, though. Today's session, Qs, or really on Friday, Qs, this was the one to watch. Because if you look at SPY on Friday, it was really a runaway train. There was no real entry. On Friday, we said, watch a 675 for demand hold, rip and rally, right? And it didn't really give you an entry at 675. If you notice this candle here happened at 925. So unless any of you guys are able to trade options at 925, nobody took this trade. It was impossible, right? It was impossible. But if you go to the QQQ, the level we spoke about on Qs on Friday, the most important level on QQQ, go back to Friday's live stream, was what? It was 613 in Qs. And if you notice this was probably your best trade yesterday on Friday session, right? It was a break, it was a pullback long, it was your retest at 613, big upside move. And so this was your trade on Friday. And that's why I always go over all of our three big tickers, right? Our Qs, our ES, and our SPY. Obviously, there are other indices you can watch as well, like the IWM, which we'll go over today too. But in most cases, these are your big three. And QQQ held the 613 level. And as long as we were holding the 613, we're bullish and moving back into 620. And we did that, right? And 620 has hit this morning. And where are we now? Well, we are holding above 620. 620 is your big level today. If we are above 620, then we are going to 629. If we fail 620, then we're going back to develop a swing low, which will develop somewhere here, right? And so where's the swing low now? You can obviously see that on the 4-hour chart, we have an extension here. This is obviously very extended. And when we see big extension like this, our mindset should not be, let's just long the highs here. Our mindset should be, let's look for a pullback long to buy demand. And where is our demand today? The demand I'll be watching today's session here on the Qs is 615. 615 is the Wednesday high. It's where I want the swing low to develop. This is where I'm watching today for longs. If I see the market pull back today in QQQ, I want to see us develop that swing low right over here at 615. This would be an optimal swing low today, or for a higher low in the market, for the market to obviously find demand here. And that's our entry for longs, okay? In the case where we just start developing a hold here at 620, this is also bullish today. It's obviously far-fetched because we are gapping up this morning, essentially. This is basically a pre-market gap up. So, of course, be aware of that. I would rather us pull back to demand today. But if we don't, then this is your second case scenario. I don't want to just talk about what I want. I want to talk about what could happen, because what I want may not be what actually turns out to happen. This is what I want. This is optimal. But we could easily just hold 620 as well. And if you hold 620, the market's not pulling back, okay? Understand that today's session here on the QQQ, okay? Guys, let's move into our other tickers today. Let's talk about the big ones. Let's go over the first and biggest ticker for today's session. And this is my watch, my main watch, Amazon, okay? Okay, so on the Amazon chart, it is not very strong yet, but in my opinion, we are consolidating and bull flagging under a very key level. And you can see this is very interesting, right? You can see this 229 level right here on the Amazon chart is a very important inflection point. And almost every single time we've broken above 229, we've seen this stock continue into the next level here, 232. Well, there was one time where it just moved into 231. But again, in most cases, you see upside. And for today's session, what I'm watching on this chart is I'm watching to see, can we break above 229 on a break and retest? If we can see us break above 229, I'm looking for an upside move, a break, I retest, upside trade. That's all I have here, guys, on Amazon, right? And as long as we are holding about 229, I'm looking for longs. Okay, that's all I have today here on Amazon's chart. Very, very simple chart here. I'm looking for continuation above resistance, right? Next chart, IWM. I'm gonna flip. I should have actually done this first, guys. I am gonna rotate. How many of you guys watch the IWM? Do you guys want me to start doing this? How many of you guys watch the IWM? Put a yes or a no. You can put no as well. You can also put no. I'm curious. And be honest. Do you guys watch IWM? Because that's important to me. You can say no. If you say no, I'm not going to take it against you. I just want to see it. 1 no, lots of yeses. 2 no's, 3 no's, lots of yeses. Okay, so mostly yeses. Mostly yeses. All right. I would say probably 80% yes. Now we're getting a lot of no's. Now there's a lot of no's in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of no's now, but it's still mostly yeses. Okay. On the IWM chart, you can see strength here on the IWM. But what is this that we are facing right now? You guys know what I'm going to say here. You guys know what I'm going to say here. We're at resistance. And what is this? It does not take a rocket scientist to say, hey, hold on a second, right? What is this? What is this right here, right? This is a head and shoulders, okay? And look, head and shoulders, it does not mean it's bearish. It does not mean it's going to go down immediately, right? But it does mean that we are at supply right now, which is technically true. Even if you aren't a pattern trader, you know we're at supply right now. And you know it's going to do one of two things, right? You know it's going to either do this. Bam. Or it's going to do this. Or it's going to do this. Right? That's what you know is going to happen. It's going to do one of the two things, right? I mean, we know it's going to either break the head and shoulders here at 253, or it's going to reject it and go back down to low, right? But in either scenario, you are watching right here. You are watching right here. You should be watching. If you trade IWM, this is a week where you should be watching it because it's either going to reject it or it's going to break it. And right now, I would be leaning towards what? I would be leaning towards this because we're in supply. This is what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards us rejecting here. And my watch is going to be, my top watch, this, if I were watching IWM, is going to be, do I see head and shoulders form here? Do I see a short side trade here on the IWM? Because if I see some 5-minute intraday price action showing me, hey, let's go short here, I will go short with a stop above 283 and look for the downside move. Okay, so that would be my top watch today at IWM. If on the IWM on the Russell, if I was watching this. But of course, if we see us build above 253, then the head and shoulders has invalidated. If we see us clear this level right here, right here, right? Where is it? Right there, the green band. If we build this level, then we are no longer in a head and shoulders anymore, right? So just keep that in mind. That's your big inflection point today's session. Okay. Bruce has the blueprint for us. Bruce, thank you, Bruce. Let's dive into Bruce's blueprint. So we have Amazon. What's next in the blueprint is Tesla. So Tesla. My big level today here in Tesla, guys, is 491. Okay, 491 is the Thursday high, is the Friday high, and we're gapping up pre-market today. We need to see us build above 491 for us to see upside. It's a very clear level, guys. Above 491, we should in theory. I just said we should in theory. We should in theory move into 495. So it's a little bit of upside here. Is it enough to play with? I think there is some room here. So you can try it above the 491s. Target back into 495. This is a very aggressive stock. You know how Tesla moves. But if you are trading Tesla, I would trade Tesla on trend. And Tesla above the 491s, you should get the 495, right? It's not a huge upside play here, but there is some room here on Tesla, okay? If we fail back lower, 482 is your demand. Below 482, 467 is your secondary demand. So some levels to watch out for here at Amazon. Next on the blueprint, Bruce has it ready for us. MSFT, Microsoft. So Microsoft, we spoke about the 486 level on last week, right? And we saw some upside above 480, which was 480, target 486. Now you can see we've developed a hold here, right? We've developed a sort of a maintenance here, but I don't really have any clear levels today in Microsoft. And I'll tell you guys always, right? I said when it looked like this here on the 17th, I said, guys, Microsoft has a very clear level. It's a very beautiful level here in Microsoft. If we build 480, right, we're going to see upside. But today's session, I don't see clear levels here. And I'm not a clown. I'm not going to pull rabbits out of a hat or I can't do that, right? So I can't just make things up over here. I don't have a clear inflection point here. I don't have a clear level to trade off of. So I recommend staying away here. Unless you see something that I don't, right? I have a small level here at 490, which I could see, but above 490, the problem is, oh yeah, very clear level 490, but look at this, right? Look what you're trading into. If you trade above 490, bam, you're trading into that, right? So it's not so clear for me, and I would steer the ship away from this chart until we get that clarity, okay? That's what I see here at Microsoft. Okay, moving on, let's go over some other names. Let's go over NVIDIA. NVIDIA, very clear today. So guys, like count, it's 9 o'clock. We're all here this morning. We have 1,100 viewers here, and we have 400 likes. Guys, I have a 500 like goal. Get the 500 likes, please. That's the only thing I ask for. Also, I forgot to say this. On the 24th, we are giving away $1,000. No, it's not. That's a lot. Actually, it is a lot. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. We're giving away $1,000 on the 24th. Who is going to be here on the 24th? Is my dog okay? Yes, my dog is okay. My dog is just sleeping. My dog is totally fine. Who's going to be here on the 24th? You guys going to be here on the 24th? You guys better all be here. You guys better all be, even if you're not trading on the 24th, you guys better be here on the 24th. We're giving away $1,000. Just come, right? Tell your family to come. Only if they're traders, though. Don't tell them to come if they're not traders, because then they're taking your bread, right? Only come if you are a trader. But yeah, just show up. Anyway, just show up, okay? And subscribe to the channel. If you guys are not subscribed, I don't know who else is giving $1,000 away. What other? You know what? Okay, here's what they do, right? They, instead of giving away $1,000, you know what they'll do? They'll give you guys 10 prop firm accounts, right? But you know they're all free, right? You know they get them for free. You know they're getting all those prop firms for free, right? You know they're in my DM too. They're in my DMs as well. Hey Brett, we'll give your YouTube 50 free prop. Just do a giveaway. It's all free, guys. They're all free, so it's not a giveaway. It's not a giveaway. That's like going to a restaurant, right? You order yourself some food, and then I have very bad examples. I'm gonna stop that example right there because it was gonna be very bad. It was gonna be very bad. But yes, they're all free. Nobody else is giving away $1,000. I don't think anyone's giving $1,000 away each month, right? Each month. Okay, guys, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is probably the example of frothiness. If you want to see what is the textbook definition of frothy, it's NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA is frothy this morning, right? Above 180, this is looking super primed up. Everyone's horned up. I want a long NVIDIA today, right? I want to go long NVIDIA. We can't do it right here, right? Look at the chart. This is an example of a frothy upside move right now. We are at supply here. Supply is 185, demand down 181. We need to see this happen. We need to see us pull back the demand here. We need to see us pull back the demand here at 181. Guys, do you also, this is a complete side note here, but do you guys also see people talking about Premarket a lot? Do you guys also see people talking about Premarket? All the traders are talking about Premarket. Did you guys notice that? I don't know if you guys noticed that, but put a yes if you guys noticed that. Did you guys notice that? You know why, by the way? Premarket reached out to me last week, and they said, Brett, we're trying to get involved in a trading space. Every time you mention Premarket on a YouTube video, we'll give you $500. And I have not responded to them. They're in my WhatsApp. They are in my WhatsApp. So if your name is John at Premarket, the answer is no. Sorry, Patrick. His name is Patrick. The answer is no. Okay, we do not entertain gambling here. All right, so NVIDIA, 181 is your demand below, and 185 is your supply above us. Okay, that's what we have here at AMD or NVIDIA. This is a frothy chart. Be careful of frothy charts. Frothy charts are the most dangerous. If we can pull back to our demand, that's where I'm watching for longs, right? This is my 181 demand, 181 big demand zone, okay? AMD. AMD. AMD is the next level, guys. AMD, this is another example of frothy, right? You see this upside, you want to go long in AMD, you can't do it. Not here, at least, right? We're longing back into supply. You want to be longing on pullbacks. Again, AMD was a name that I think we didn't really speak enough about. Last week, I was talking a lot of smack about AMD. It did give you that 210 break and retest. You saw the 210 break and retest on Friday, right? It broke above it, it pulled back, it retested it, upside move. Now, today here in AMD, we are up. Try to understand this. From this breakout level, we are up 4%, right? You want to see us pull back here at some point. If you're looking for longs in AMD, it's got to be in a pullback long. Where the longs are for me, like where my demand is obviously 215, the PDH, right? PDH is your 215. And then below 215 is 212. Below 212 is 210. So you have some levels to watch out for. It's not a simple chart. It's not like a very clear, oh, it's long right here. But you have demand 1, demand 2, demand 3. I don't know what level it's going to be, but it's going to be one of them, right? The first one to watch is 215. If you see it develop a hold there, look for longs at 215. Same thing with 212. Same thing with 210, right? NVIDIA, I think, is more clear. NVIDIA, I'm just watching 181, right? 181 in NVIDIA, 181 to 180 is my level here in NVIDIA. It's very clear. On AMD, it's 3 different levels. So understand that. It's not as simple as just longing that one level, okay? Moving on, we got to go over a few names, guys. Apple. 273 bull bear pivot, right? If we're above 273 or bullish, if we're below or bearish, that's your clear inflection point this morning. 273. If the stock breaks under 273, you can short this name. If the stock breaks under 273, you can short Apple, right? Apple under 273 is a short. Apple above 273 is a long. So just keep that in mind, guys. Guys, that's it. I'm going to keep it all. I'm going to keep it there. Unfortunately, I started going off in rants today, so I missed up a lot of tickers, but don't worry about it. We went over the big ones. I think it's the most important ones to discuss. Oh, no, we did not. Rick the Ruler, Meta. Rick the Ruler said Meta and UNH. We got 2 more to go over. Get back in the stream. Get back in the stream. Get back here. Open it back up. Okay, 660 on Meta. Very clear level here on Meta. This is your clear inflection point. If we're above this level or bullish. Right now, it's not a very bold trending chart here, right? But you can see one thing. You can see the fact that it's stacking up higher, right? You have a stair step. You have a stair step, right? You have some stair steps coming in here on this chart. It's not a beautiful chart, but it is stair stepping. And if I'm watching anything here on Meta's chart, it's going to be, are we holding 660? Are we holding 660? Because if we are, upside, back higher. This is my most clear inflection point on Meta, 660. And it's not a beautiful trend, but it is a stair-stepping idea. If we're above this level, bullish. If you break this level, we're going back down lower into 650, right? If 660 breaks here on Meta, we're going into 650, right? About $10 downside here. Last ticker, UNH. On the UNH chart, you have a win-wham here above 332, which is interesting. But I don't get caught up here in short term on UNH. I think you guys shouldn't. If you're watching UNH, you must be watching the long-term levels here. The long-term level here, the long-term bull bear pivot is 302. If we're above this level, we are bullish here on the daily time frame. Guys, thank you all for joining in. I'll see you guys all for live trading. Have a happy and safe trading session. Bye, guys.